I've never been before. Another crowded room, another empty place. I never know.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to Rockin' Valley own Ralph Pagano and the Artist Spotlight. And now, Ralph Pagano.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. And welcome to another edition of the Artist Spotlight. Tonight, my special guest is Chris. Chris, pronounce your last name for me so I don't butcher it.
Alrighty. I get this question a lot, so no harm, no foul here. It's Chris Dreyfus.
Okay. I thought that was it, but I'm like, if I say it and it's wrong, I'm going to feel stupid. So, and I have a way of making myself feel stupid all the time anyway. So, you know, what are you going to do?
No, you're totally fine.
Chris, you're in Florida right now, right?
Yes, I am. I don't want to dox myself, but that's currently where I'm based. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. And that's right outside of Orlando, or?
Yeah, right outside of Orlando.
Fantastic. All right. But you're originally from the Lehigh Valley, correct?
Yeah, I was actually born in Orlando, and I moved to the Lehigh Valley when I was, I want to say like maybe 8 or 9, and I was there all through high school, and then I came back down here for college, and so far I haven't left.
Okay, cool. So it's nice and sunny and warm down there.
Yes.
Send some of that up here, will you?
Yeah.
It's kind of miserable up here now. What are you going to do though? Looking through your catalog, I didn't realize you had so much music out there. You know, when I first started listening to your current album, your EP that you just put out, in September, I was thinking that was your first. And then I started looking through and I'm like, wow, this guy's got a lot of music out there. So I was kind of going to focus on your EP, and obviously it's brand new. I'm sure that's what you want to focus on. I don't know what songs you have planned for us for tonight or whatever, but you know, let's talk a little bit about your solo stuff first of all, but you also have some stuff out there with a band as well. So
yes, I do. So
tell us about your solo stuff first.
Alrighty. Well, right now the solo catalog, if I can be so pretentious and call it a solo catalog, it's about, let's see, it's 4 records and the latest EP, which is called New Days Must Come. And the very first record is called One, and I actually wrote all those songs probably like in 2013. And they were just kind of like, when I first recorded them, they were not very good. So I re-recorded the record, and I finally put it out in 2015. And then I still wasn't satisfied with it. So this year I actually put out kind of an updated version of the very first record. And I'm working on an updated version of the second record, because if you go on there, it's not really up to like the standards of what I like.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And then the third and fourth records came out in 2016 and 2017. And then I did a little detour, which turned into a big detour on a group that I'm in called the Romani Brothers. And so that's with a friend of mine, Jonathan Ionescu, who's a lifelong Lehigh Valley resident up until this point in his life. I don't know what he's going to do in the future, obviously. And we've put out, let's see here, I want to say we put out 2 EPs, 1 single, and 2 records. And that's all been in the time span of 2016 to 2020. Cool. So it's been kind of a marathon, I guess, looking back in retrospect.
And so here I am thinking we're going to talk all about this 5-song EP of yours, or 4-song EP, I guess it is, right?
Yeah.
Here you have all this other music to share with us too. So, and obviously we're not going to have time to get into all that stuff. You know, the focus would be on your newer music, and let's get that out there. But let's let people know about the other stuff while we're at it. You and I met, I'm going to say probably a little more than a year ago, when you happened to stroll into an open mic night that I was hosting. And You know, that's actually the only time we physically met. Was at that open mic night. I guess you were back on your way back to Florida very shortly after that, and you know.
Well, I think the funny story with that is, I think our memories might vary, but I think one of the more recent open mics I played at in Pennsylvania was right before the coronavirus pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I was scheduled to go back to Florida. So I was like, all right, I'm coming up for like 2 days, play this open mic, and come right back. Well, I never left, and I was in Pennsylvania for like 2.5 months.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know the one where I met you, you came to with Jonathan.
Yes. Yeah.
At Cave Brewing Company.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, a lot of good things can come out of an open mic night. So let's talk about what you're going to play for us first.
All right. Well, this is a song. This is the last track off of the new EP. It's called A New Day Is Coming. And that's where the title kind of evolved from, because the EP is called New Days Must Come.
Cool.
So let's get it rolling here.
You're another Ovation player.
Yes, I am. I have actually watch this here for a sec. I got a couple of guitars I can show off here.
Fantastic.
Check out this. You see that?
Oh, that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. This is my
the John Lennon Rick.
oh yeah. This is actually the Roger McGuinn Rick.
Yeah.
12 string there.
I just always associate a Rickenbacker with John Lennon.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, from personal experience, those things they sound wonderful, very hard to tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an acoustic 12 string. I need to get it reset up, but in the meantime, I've been playing this Ovation. So
cool.
Here's the first song. It's called A New Day Is Coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, a new day is coming. I said a new day is coming. Well, a new day is coming. Hold it tight in your hand. Well, you gotta keep running. I said you gotta keep running. Well, you gotta keep running if you wanna see change in this world. All around me I can see the faces of the people walking in the street. They're shouting out familiar places, looking for somewhere to meet. Well, you gotta start something. I said you gotta start something. Well, you gotta start something if you wanna see change in this world. Well, it might bring salvation, or it might bring devastation. Yes, it might bring salvation. It all depends on you. The future's spiraling in circles. Everyone is acting so insane. But you and I must keep on going, or we'll lose it all again. Well, a new day is coming. I said a new day is coming. Well, a new day is coming. What'll it bring to you? Well, you gotta keep fighting. I said you gotta keep on fighting. Well, you gotta keep fighting if you wanna make it through. Well, I don't know just what you're thinking. These leaders wanna keep us down by stripping everyone of freedom. We gotta run them out of town. Well, a new day is coming. I said a new day is coming. Well, a new day is coming. What'll it bring? What'll it bring? What'll it bring to you and you and you and
little bit of a kind of a country bluegrass kind of undertone to it. Didn't get that from listening to the Towers. So
No, the Tower's kind of a different beast. But
yeah, absolutely.
With this tune, I've been working on. I don't know if you're familiar with the Greenwich Village folk scene or not, but there was a guy up there. His name was Happy Traum. He played with Bob Dylan back in the early '60s. Happy never really made it, but he put out a lot of good books about like flat picking and finger picking. So I've been working on my country and bluegrass flat picking through one of the Happy Traum songbooks that he did.
Cool.
It's been very interesting.
So tell us a little bit about that song and where did it come from, and you know, what were you thinking behind it?
Alrighty. That's my pause for dramatic effect there. So that song, if I remember correctly, that was one of the last songs I recorded for this whole EP. And if you couldn't tell by the lyrical content, it's really just about the people that are in power, and how things are just really, you know, now more than ever, things are just really like, whew, like what, you know.
Yeah.
It's I think it's just really shocking to see how things have changed so radically over the last a couple of years. You know, I remember thinking in high school, man, things are just kind of like, in terms of history seemed to kind of have hit like a wall in terms of it being interesting. Now, that was probably me being very naive, but certainly over the last 4, 5, even 6 years, things have gotten very, very interesting, especially now, where things are very, very heated, and the coronavirus pandemic is certainly not making anything better.
No, that's for sure.
So
that 100% right on that.
Yeah. So that a new day is coming is exactly that. You know, you can't really stop the sun from rising, and just as sure as that, you know, there's going to be new things happening and new people, and if you don't like those people, you got to say something.
Yeah, that's funny. One of the things I always shied away from when I was writing was political stuff. Not because I don't have any interest in politics or whatever, but I've always felt like you're almost forcing people to either shy away from you or jump on the bandwagon with you. Like you're splitting your audience maybe a little bit sometimes. People are going to love your political undertones or hate them. Do you find that that's the case when you write songs about politics or you get into political discussions?
Well, that's a very good question. So far, I haven't really gotten any death threats, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I would hope not.
No, it's you know, I like to think that even if you are on different sides of the political spectrum, there at least should be some human decency. I think the people that are really very like aggressive are hopefully outliers. So far, I try and handle any political situations that I have with tact.
Yeah.
Because you never know when someone's like, I mean, it's pretty inescapable. Like you're always going to have that relative who is like the complete opposite of you politically. And you have to see them for the next 20 to 75 years. And so it's a really interesting thing to navigate through song. But fortunately, I think the worst thing that people could do to the songs is not listen to them. So if anyone does have any qualms about the songs, I mean, I'm not going to stop playing them, but
I get what you're saying.
It's your choice to listen or not.
Yeah. So. Mm-hmm. You know, I never have any problem listening to that kind of stuff. And obviously I have my opinion. I generally keep that stuff to myself. I go on like Facebook and see all the nonsense that's going on, and like people are ready to kill each other over political views. Like, okay, like if you're going to vote for Biden, vote for Biden. If you're going to vote for Trump, vote for Trump. But I don't really think that there's a need to pull a gun on your neighbor because they're voting for somebody other than you. But people are a little over the top, and I always thought to myself, well, you know what? Rather than divide my fan base, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut when it comes to politics and religion, and that and I always have. But I've always wondered what kind of feedback you get on that kind of stuff when you do write that kind of stuff. And listening to The Tower, I got some political undertones as well. So, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't listen to the other two songs. My plan was to listen to the whole EP, and then I found all this other music, and I'm like, wow, let me listen to some other stuff and see where you are and where you were, and that kind of stuff always interests me too, like listening to somebody else more than a couple albums out, and where did they start and where are they now, as far as their sound and their style and that kind of stuff. So that's funny. I say hardly anybody plays an Ovation, and of course I play one. Sometimes I neglect her and play my Martin, but I say hardly anybody plays an Ovation anymore. And 2 weeks in a row, I've had a guest on with an Ovation. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people do still like Ovations. I don't know. I know I love mine. How about you?
I love this Ovation. This is actually it's not really mine. It's on kind of a indefinite loan from my dad. He brought it down for me. So thank you, Dad. But this is one of two Ovations that he owns. So, and I remember bugging him when I was first learning to play guitar. I was like, Dad, why don't you just let me play one of your Ovations? Because when I was first starting, the really big acoustic guitars, obviously they're not like this rounded body. Like this one's got a rounded body. And so I was like, the ones that don't have the guitars without rounded bodies, Dad, they're a little bit harder for me to play, and it makes me like, I'm not comfortable. He's like, no, just play it. And of course he was right. And I really grew to love my acoustic 12 string that I still have. But switching over to the Ovation, like it's been very, very nice. Like you don't know how easy it is to play until you're only playing with 6 strings. Let me tell you. Yeah. And I really, one of the people that is a really famous Ovation guitar player is actually David Cassidy from the Partridge Family.
Really?
Yeah, really.
No kidding. Okay.
So, and don't knock those songs.
I'm surprised you even know who that is.
Oh yeah. I grew up, my parents shoved it down my throat. So, and, those songs are surprisingly catchy. I've actually got a couple of their records over here, if you can see my record collection, and they're pretty good. So
we have a friend of ours that comes out to our shows a lot, and she's always going, play the Partridge Family. And we just look at each other like, no. But, what are you going to do? And yeah, you're right. There are a couple of their songs that are very catchy. So, and probably very easy to play. We've just never really attempted it. But she's always asking for something from the Partridge Family. So one of these days we'll surprise her when she comes out to one of our gigs, and we'll do that. But, the Ovation, I love mine. It's so easy to play, and that one of the reasons I got it is because of the really small neck, and I have tiny fingers, so it's a lot easier to reach around and play them. So everybody complains about the rounded back. How can you stand up and play that thing? It's sticking out. Well, you get used to it like really quick. So.
Yeah.
And and actually the sound, amplified the sound is really good on it too. So I mean, everything I could think about the Ovation is a plus. All right, so what are you going to share with us next?
All right, well, I think it's time to do The Tower, since you have mentioned it a couple of times. I think it'd be remiss if I didn't play it here.
Oh, so, you got to play that. So that's the single that's out right now. Is that not? Yeah.
It is. So that's kind of like the main head, the main thesis idea behind the whole EP. So this is called The Tower, for those of you just tuning in. 1, 2, 3, 4. The streets were filled with fire and the faces and the names, marching on with signs and crying out about war games. The riot squads and howling dogs continued with their fights, each of them determined that their side was right. The millions with their ideals now approached the glorious hour. The president and all his men stood stoic in the tower. A barricade of hatred stood as violence lay to waste. Any shred of dignity in the other's face. Now alone I sit in silence, wondering what was done to make us all so isolated from the daughters and the sons. The culmination of the years in bitter blank unrest has brought about the countless tears and pushed us to the test. And looking out my window pane, I see the sidewalks glowing with the fires of my friends and enemies still showing. Everything we've worked for just hasn't been enough to prevent all these deep divisions they now can't cover up. No one living will forget that fine and fateful day, the outcome of a nation sealed with turmoil on its way. The cries of joy colliding with the sorrows to be wrought. No one living will forget what arrogance has brought. The denizens of darkness heard the calling of the cards. Experience was null and void as millions crossed the yard. The hands of time shall turn again to work against the clocks of bleeding hearts of crooks and sharks that lurk beneath the docks. I heard you say he won the day with pleasure in your face. I wondered how somebody could betray their sex or race. I wondered how our knowledge could revoke the power of thought. I wondered why it seemed like progress now could be for naught. Life is for the living, said the lurker of the grave. Learn to be forgiving, said the master to the slave. Nothing's always true, said the con man to his kid. Sadness and suppressions, I will pay for what we did. The blind man in the street shuffled down the alleyways. The red and glare of rockets now illuminates the haze. His face is tinted orange against the radiated snow. Couldn't God have stopped it? I guess now we'll never know. The socialites and victors say, accept what's done is done. Accept the clouds of hatred, yes, accept that fear has won. Accept and stand defeated to the policies of hate. Accept discrimination as your one and only fate. But no one sane or solid will go quiet through the years. Every single person must speak out against what they hear. Yes, the protest will continue long into the night. Not a single person sane will go down without a fight. And I'll be there too. I'll be there too. You'll be there too. We'll be there. We'll all be there too. All right.
All right. Good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, that's got a lot of verses, so
Mhm.
thanks for
Kind of
picking.
had like an Arlo Guthrie kind of ring to that. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
so what
Did you-
influences your writing, or should I say, who influences your writing?
Well, let's see here. Well, Arlo Guthrie is a good example of
Yeah.
that. I actually just played a couple of Arlo Guthrie songs 2 nights ago, actually, because he's retiring. So he's a very big influence of mine. My biggest influence is probably Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah.
I met one of the founding members right before he passed away. His name was Paul Kantner. And I really liked, like, their lyrics are so weird on those early records. Like, they're just so, like, I don't know, like that type of music and material is very, very appealing to me. I first really got interested in the Doors in high school, thanks to my mom. She said that I kind of look like Jim Morrison. So I was like, let me check this Jim Morrison guy out. And so I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and it was like, you know, then you start getting a little crazy, and you're like, oh man, like maybe I was Jim Morrison in another lifetime, you know? And it's like, come on, Chris, like get it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really influenced by the 60s kind of folk rock and psychedelic rock artists. I also have been trying to get a healthy diet of newer music, because let's face it, all the psychedelic people are getting up there, and I want to go to more concerts when I'm in my 40s. So I've been listening to a lot of Rilo Kiley, which is a kind of I guess you could call them emo, but they're not really emo. They're more like a alternative rock group from the 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not familiar with them, but
Yeah.
have to check them out.
Yeah. They're Jackson Browne approved. So
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Can't go wrong with a little Jackson Browne either. So
No, yeah. I love Jackson Browne.
yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. As soon as I started listening to The Tower, I started thinking, and then before you played it tonight, but listening to it on Spotify, started thinking Arlo Guthrie right there. So, do you cover Alice's Restaurant on Thanksgiving Day for your family, or what?
No, I'm learning how to do the finger picking just now. So I'm trying to do like a weird version of finger picking. I can't do the because he does Piedmont picking, which is that
Yeah.
But fun fact, if you're looking to celebrate Alice's Restaurant this Thanksgiving, I don't know if you know that, they made an Alice's Restaurant movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, it came out in 1969. And you've heard the song, obviously. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You remember Officer?
Who hasn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the blind judge and the police officer from the song and Arlo Guthrie all appear in the movie as themselves.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's a real trip. So I'm gonna force my family to watch it this Thanksgiving.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the song every year, of course, because it's traditional on some classic rock station to play it, and 30 times on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the only song they play all day long. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, who hasn't heard it, right? Like, who hasn't heard Freebird?
Exactly.
Or who hasn't heard somebody yell Freebird while you're trying to play a gig, And I always go, oh, careful what you ask for, and I start playing it.
Yeah.
And very quickly they go, no, just kidding. Yeah, good. So was I. But, who wants to play Freebird? Who wants to hear Freebird anymore?
No.
That's pretty cool, though, that your influences go back that far. It's amazing what you pick up from your parents and stuff, too. And, from listening to the stuff that they listen to, and then you get interested in that kind of stuff. And, sooner or later, it goes on down the line and it influences you and in what you write and in what you do. And it's pretty cool. Never got influenced by Perry Como, though. That would have been what my dad listened to. So, oh man. So your remastered album, One. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's the record I recorded 3 times.
Yeah.
So I recorded it in 2013. And my singing back then, I had no idea how to sing. So on those original songs, the unreleased one, if you will, all the singing sounds like this. Like a mumbling.
Okay.
The 2015 version of One, that was kind of like, I guess that was my very first ever release anywhere. That was like okay, but it still just wasn't like, I was still kind of figuring out my voice and how to tune the guitar. Minor details.
Yeah, minor details. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can actually listen to the 2015 version. I have it up on all the streaming platforms. It's just demo. So that's really what they are. They're just demos. And then the more recent version I recorded, I think in 2019, and it came out this year. It came out again. So, and this is the final one. I'm not going back and redoing any of those songs because
you're sure about that.
I'm positive. So
when you went back and you remastered One, did you make any changes to it?
Yeah, I actually lobbed off a whole song. I put it in a different song.
Okay.
Yeah, mainly because my guitar on the 2015 version was so I don't know what was going on, but I just couldn't figure out the tuning and the guitar chord that I played for the song. It was called Bleeding Rose. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna bother to try to redo this song because it sucks. Like I couldn't even tell you any of the lyrics. Like that's the last time I've heard it. Like it's probably been like since 2015. Like I just don't that song doesn't exist to me. I put a different tune on there called Red Lantern, which is a much more I like that song a lot better. But otherwise, the whole record, the new version, has pretty much an unchanged track sequence from the 2015 version, other than the switch for Red Lantern. And I've added bass. I put more Rickenbacker on it, which is always nice. You don't hear enough Rick around these days. And overall, I'm just much more happier with One than I was before. So it's really neat to kind of finally get your vision across after literal years of trying to do it.
So you didn't necessarily go full instrumentation on it, but you added bass guitar and electric guitar, and did you make any changes to the structure of the songs, or?
I think I kept them pretty close to what their original intent was. So like you're not gonna hear like one song that was in 4/4 time suddenly being like 3/4 time or something like that, or like 6/8. The songs are just more, I think they're just more interesting. I was able to kind of do like little stereo panning. There's a song on the record that's called The Iceman Cometh. I'm not going to play it for you tonight because it's 10 minutes long, and it's just, I don't want to give it away, but there's a lot of screaming and hollering in that one. And when the screaming and hollering happens, you hear it in one ear and it starts like flicking around. using, because I played around with the stereo panning on it, and it
Okay.
just sounds super cool. So I do like little tricks like that,
Uh-huh.
little
But the
garnish.
structure of the song is basically the same then. Nothing
Yeah,
really added or taken away from it.
yeah.
Okay.
Now that's actually an interesting thing that you bring up, because I'm remastering my second record, which is called Songs from the Purple Pen. And there, the basic structures of the songs are the same again, but I would say pretty much every song has like drums, and before maybe only like 5 of them did.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like taking an acoustic demo and really rocking the songs up. Like a lot of the songs on that second record that I'm working on now, that I really didn't like before, are honestly some of my favorite ones now, because of
Okay.
adding more instruments to them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Do you put songs aside and go back to them 4 or 5 years later and go, I can do much better with this, or I'm hitting a writer's block, and so let me dig up some of this old stuff that I never finished. You ever do that?
Um, I can't say that I have. Um, Mainly because I'm not doing this anymore, but there was a point in time where I was writing like 10 songs a month. So it was really just a matter of let's go, new songs, new songs. Now that being said, there are like a lot of unfinished songs that are kind of just lurking around that I probably could pull out. The only song that I think I really did what you're talking about is a song called The Ripper off of my third record, Return to Dreams. That's another super humble title right there. But that one, it was like a weird slow dirge, and I found the lyrics in a recording when I was recording the record, and I was like, this song has really cool lyrics, but the chords suck. So I just added a bunch of new chords to it. It's basically an entirely different tune with the same lyrics. And
Cool.
yeah, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, I know some people do that. Some people don't. Some people go, hey, if I didn't finish this song, it's because I thought it sucked, and I'm just going to throw it away. It's going in the trash can, and it's done. I'm just the opposite. I put stuff aside and go, maybe someday when I have writer's block and I can't think of anything to write about, I'll dig one of these up and turn it into something. And, it's just interesting to see how people do that, how people don't.
Yeah.
Now, the guy I had on last week, he does a lot of that. Now, I originally started writing this song in 1983, and I finished it in 2016. Like, okay, that's a long time. I don't go that far back, but it's just interesting to hear how people do things. Or you pick the song up and you go, man, I love this song. I love the lyrics, but there's something missing. And if I added a bridge here, or maybe a key change like right here and then back, like something similar to like what the Eagles would do with some of their songs, that they're playing it in one key and all of a sudden they go into another key and then they go back to the first key. It's kind of weird, but
well,
it's tough to sing if you're going to cover it, but like, oops, I got to change the key, and sometimes you forget. So do you play live?
Oh yeah. I play. I usually, like right now, I've been playing like at a lot of like coffee shops and like kava bars and regular bars and stuff like that. I recently did I guess you could call it my first real solo headlining show at a theater company in Oviedo, Florida, called Penguin Point Productions. It's in the prestigious Oviedo Mall, one of my stomping grounds. So, and it was close to 2 hours of uninterrupted Chris. So you can imagine how good my ego felt after that one.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
How do you find finding work is in the music industry down there?
Mainly through word of mouth and connections. A lot of the places I go will do like little open mics. And so if you visit an open mic frequently enough, you can kind of build up a little bit of a connection with whoever's booking the music or is an owner, and then from there you just start booking your gigs. Yeah, when I was actually
Are a lot of places discontinuing music because of the COVID situation, or?
with our governor, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah.
It is still impacting things down here, certainly. But no, there's actually like a surprising amount of places that are booking gigs. The question that I have is if I would want to seek out certain gigs based on like the amount, because I have, like, as you know, a pretty big back catalog of songs, and I really just prefer to play my own material if I'm being honest. So it's a matter of finding places where I can get paid and also still play the material that I want to play.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of places want covers. Some places you can get away with mixing in the originals into the cover sets, and some places don't want to hear the originals at all, like, and which is a shame, because it kind of, to me, it takes away from the creativity, and it gives us, people, by us I mean like people who like to listen to original music, it gives us less places to go to listen to. You know what I mean? You really have to hunt for it. And I can go anywhere and listen to a cover band, but there are very few places where I can go and listen to somebody play stuff that they wrote, stuff that they're producing. And my preference, I'd rather do that. I'd much rather do that. If I want to hear somebody play, Freebird, I'll play it myself. Because I catch ideas from people that I listen to as well. So, if and that's not to say, well, I copy things from them, but there's a cool little hook in that song, and I like the chord pattern. Maybe I can mess around with something like that. It's not like I go home and go, okay, this is the exact same chord pattern, but there's a chord this guy played that are really cool. It sounded great. I've never tried that chord before. So that kind of stuff. I don't know. How about you? When you go out and listen to music, are you listening for original stuff, or are you just, hey, I'm here at the bar listening to music?
I think it depends on like who is playing. I'm a very selective, I guess, guy when it comes to the music I like. Like if I really don't like a song, I really don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Freebird.
There's a guy down here. He's actually moving, unfortunately. That was in a band of mine called Paradise Tree, and that broke up. But it's a whole nother 2-hour conversation that we can't get into. But his name is John Miles, and he is one of my favorite songwriters just ever. And so if he was playing like an open mic or like a gig somewhere, like I would try and be there as best that I could, schedule allowed. And it's just like, I could listen to him sing pretty much anything and his songs are just really, really awesome.
Yeah.
He's just got such a cool range about him. He can do folk finger picking. He can sing really quiet, like almost ballady type stuff. And he can really scream too. So people like that, where they have like a unique sound that also kind of fits into like what I already like. I really do appreciate those types of guys. Cool. But otherwise, I'm more content to like sit with like 80-year-olds in the audience and listen to like someone like Arlo Guthrie or like Jorma Kaukonen from Hot Tuna and Jefferson Airplane. Kind of just
okay.
The old stuff. Yeah.
All right. Sit in with the 80-year-olds, huh?
Yeah, I've done it before and I'll do it again. That was the pandemic clears up before the senior population
it goes away, right? Yeah.
I'm just hoping there'll still be some of those classic rock guys left.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hang in there. I'm not 80 though.
No, you don't look a day over 40.
Okay. If you say so.
Outside
42. 42 now.
All right.
I got a kid that's 40. Who are you kidding? Anyhow, next subject. We definitely want to get another song in before we run out of time. So what are you going to play for us next?
All righty. I think we're going to end on a let's continue on with the political theme in one sense, but this is also an earlier song. This is what some would consider my signature song, and I would agree with them. This is called Dawn of Freedom.
And where do we find it? It's not on the new album.
No, it's on the last album called Freedom Fighters. And so I'm pretty sure it's the only Dawn of Freedom song in the world. So I'm going to say that name right there.
All right.
So just look it up on Spotify.
I'm going to go look for another Dawn of Freedom song now and prove you wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead. And then I'll write a different song, and then I'll come back and I'll say, this is my song.
There you go. All right.
Anyway, this is out everywhere, all streaming platforms. So it's called Dawn of Freedom. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say you're not ready to face the light. You'd rather stay in bed. But sooner or later, and you know that I'm right, you gotta face what lies ahead. The dawn of freedom's coming on, from darkness into morn. The dawn of freedom's coming on. So lay down your hate and your scorn. The dawn of freedom's coming on, with the rising of the sun. And everybody's running on. No cage for anyone, no. That you're tired, unable to keep your focus in the day. Well, don't you be crying, no, don't you weep. Your fears will melt away. The dawn of freedom's coming on, from darkness into morn. The dawn of freedom's coming on. So lay down your hate and your scorn. The dawn of freedom's coming on, with the rising of the sun. And everybody's running on. No cage for anyone, no. Suffering, living in pain, or down in poverty, soon you'll be living, strength you will gain, you'll lose all your miseries. The dawn of freedom's coming on, y'all, from darkness into morn. The dawn of freedom's coming on, y'all, so lay down your hate and your scorn. The dawn of freedom's coming on, with the rising of the sun. And everybody's running on. No cage for anyone. No, 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 no.
have to remember to unmute myself after you get done playing. I go to talk to you, and I'm like, oh, I'm muted. Hello. Because I don't want to make any sound while you're playing a song. So just hit the mute button. So we went from country bluegrass to Arlo Guthrie to Bob Dylan. Right?
You said it, not me.
Yeah. That's what I got out of that one. Kind of a Bob Dylan kind of vibe. Cool. Which is cool. It's diverse. And, so obviously everything doesn't sound the same, which is things I struggle with sometimes is like, wow, I think this song sounds like the last 2-3 songs that I wrote. Let's try something different, And I guess every songwriter goes through that. I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm just writing the same songs over and over. Weirdly enough, even though they're not,
Yeah, exactly. Or you start getting comfortable with writing a song in the same key, and you got into a rut where it's all the same, and you're like, oh my God, I'm becoming Nickelback.
God forbid.
I wrote a song and changed the lyrics 37 times to give me 37 new songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. God forbid. I think that's, I don't want to say that they're absolutely horrible, but that's the one thing that drives me nuts about them is I feel like, God, every song sounds the same. Like, can you guys be a little bit more creative, please?
Yeah.
That song's really cool the first time with the first set of lyrics, but the 23rd time, it's like not really that cool anymore.
It's really weird what passes for like rock music.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought for years that there was no good rock music at all being produced in it was like 1989, that was it, and then there's just nothing. But I'm pleasantly surprised that it's actually not true. It's just not being played on like the pop radio stations a lot. It's transitioned into indie music. And indie music, some indie music is just really, really, really awesome. So
Yeah.
it's good to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not.
I love indie music.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Someone just described you as having the lyrical creativity of Bob Dylan with a much, much better voice.
Well, thank you to whoever said that. I appreciate it very much.
That's probably true, though. The one drawback from Dylan is his voice. But, after listening to him for a while, you get used to it. We got a couple more minutes, Chris. Do you have any shows going on? I know you're playing up here a couple times in November and December. But besides that, do you have anything going on locally before you come up to the Valley, or?
I don't have any like major like events coming up, but I'll probably be hitting up a lot of local coffee shops. Maybe I'll get like a gig somewhere, and I'll make sure to do like a little post about it. All of my social media accounts are Chris Dreyfus. So if anyone's looking to find me, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have Snapchat, and I do have a Twitter. So that's my social media blast for you. But really my biggest gigs are going to be on November 28th at the Mill in Bethlehem, 4 p.m. And then again at the Mill in Bethlehem on December 13th at 4 p.m. So,
cool. Do you have a website?
Yes, hold on. I don't have an official chrisdreyfus.com yet. I have Chris Dreyfus Facebook page and the Chris Dreyfus Bandcamp page. So the Facebook page is really my hub for all of my events and whatnot.
And do you release your music on Bandcamp?
I release my music on Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and even some of the smaller outlets like Google Play, which people allegedly use.
Yeah, allegedly. So, and you do get 3 or 4 cents a year in royalties from places like Google Plus.
That's true.
That 4 cents goes a long way.
Yeah, I can pay some of my taxes.
Yeah, sure. Now Yeah, it's been great having you, man. Very much appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your music and your thoughts with us. It's been great. You know, I love some of the stuff you did at the open mic night that I hosted, and you know, so obviously it clicked. Hey, when I started doing this, let's bring Chris on. So, and you know, it's going to be great to see you come up to the Valley and do a little something, and that's going to be a fun time for you, I hope.
Yeah.
And, hey, maybe we'll cross paths when I'm down in Florida. So I do that once or twice a year. So, you know, I'm a little bit further down into the west. When I get down to Florida, I'm around Clearwater. So it's beautiful down there. That's the one thing I guess you guys have going for you. They can have outdoor music pretty much anywhere right now. And, you know, we're done with the outdoor stuff. You know, I played two outdoor shows this weekend on actually 3, Thursday, Friday, and then one Saturday afternoon. And it was beautiful out Saturday afternoon. Then I had another show Saturday night and was supposed to be outdoors, but it was like 48 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour wind. And and where we were playing, where it was set up, we would have been in like a wind tunnel. So, you know, got brought inside, which was a good thing, because I think I might have got frostbite in my fingers or something playing in that nonsense. But, you know, so it's pretty much over up here. But you still have that opportunity down south. So I think I'll spend January or February in Florida. So, so I can play outdoors, you know, and not have to worry about that nonsense. So, again, I appreciate you coming on, Chris. Best of luck with your new EP. Hopefully you get some views out of that. If you want any of your music played on the air, we can put it in the rotation on the radio side of Rockin' the Valley. And all you need to do is send me an MP3 of what you want played, and I'll make sure I get it to the right people and get it in the rotation. So, you know, if you'd like to do that, feel free to do that. As many or as few songs as you like, and we'll get them in the rotation for you.
All right, wonderful. That sounds
all right, man. Best of luck. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Next week, got a very special guest, another Chris Boone, will be coming to us from Charleston, South Carolina next week. So please tune in and to another episode of the Artist Spotlight with Ralph on Wednesday evening from 8 to 9. And again, tonight's guest, Chris Dreyfus. Chris, thanks so much for being with us, man. We'll talk to you soon.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I think we're still on the air, but yeah, we're gonna cue the folks that are supposed to lead us out. Love when that happens. Well, what are you gonna do? We can just keep talking, right? Hey,
good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he fell asleep. So there we go. Have a great night, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on the road again, headed to a place I've never been before.